an exciting, entertaining team to watch. What a great team for people to get behind, and I've been pushing that storyline, and people really are, because they've seen the same qualities in them. But if you're wanting excitement and entertainment, Des, you can't go wrong with FaZe Clan either. Believe me, they are one of those teams that are going to bring those unbelievable moments. If you're a neutral fan coming into this, oh, what a lip-smacking prospect we've got in front of us.
You spoke a bit about expectations, and one coming into any game is that you're going to see a Thatcher ban. The first one being taken away. The Buck following through on this map, especially incredibly effective given the amount of soft destructible flooring, or walls of course scattered around the map. Also can't forget the Buck now has the double hard breach gadget that we've seen some teams using throughout the competition, in place of even bringing along a single hard breacher. Things like Zero and Buck as a pairing, both with hard breachers being brought along in place of things like Ace or Hibana. The final two bans, a little more standard. The Mirror, the Valkyrie, we see these taken away an awful lot. Mirror making some sites rock solid, impenetrable fortresses. And the Valkyrie, well, we've already seen what a few teams can do when she's left on the board, Tim. So all in all, pretty safe bans. But that Buck, the one I'm looking at and thinking, okay, some difference required by the attackers here, some innovation to be shown.
Well, we are heading into it, Des. We go into the French Alps. It's Chalet. It is the first semi-final of the 6 major here in Sweden. We've had a wonderful time in Gävle, and I think it's going to get a little bit more enjoyable today. I am absolutely pumped up for this one. Damwon Kia will kick us off on the defense. We've spoken on the desk about how Chalet might just be a little bit of a weak spot for FaZe here, but does starting on the attack maybe just help mitigate that a little bit for them, Des?
Ever so slightly. We've seen a variety of Chalet games, some that have been very heavily attacker-sided, the kind of setup that we're used to seeing in most major leagues around the world. But we've also had a couple of maps that have been very defender-sided. So you get a nice even split. And the thing is, you can look at the numbers all you like. You can look at things on paper, as we like to say. The only thing that matters is how that score ticks up at the top of your screen as this game progresses, because no 2 games in Siege are ever the same. We're kicking things off with a Master and Office defense for Damwon Kia, subbing away from bringing something like the smoke. Instead, Kota going to opt to step across onto the Chanka. Excellent for the site creation here, as you can see downstairs, opening up a number of rotates, sight lines, whatever you want it to be. He can pretty much do it all by himself, and you're going to find Yass and Rin out on the roam on that infamous duo of the Alibi and the Jaeger.
Really going to have to step up today, Des. They need to be finding those kills. Yass has gone extremely well through this tournament. We've just seen 1 or 2 quiet games for him. You just need to make sure. This is the point. For championship winning teams, you can't have those quiet games in the late stages. You've always got to show up. You've always got to deliver. Now then, Woogie Man just on that roam underneath. He's got Yass with him as well. So Damwon Kia, they are setting up to make a nuisance of himself in the map. They're not just going to allow FaZe in here, Des. They want him to have to play into them. Bullet well aware of those players in the mid floor. I think he's going to be keeping a little eye on things down there, but FaZe going to have to definitely consider, because there are the potential, no nitros, but still the potential for that verticality to be used. Shots up through the soft floor, flanks up the staircases.
It's Woogie here as well, who was holding the line into Bullet, who was coming up onto the balcony. Not quite able to find his angle. Great shown, and Bullet, who was putting a fair too many bullets through BDS yesterday, taken down by the Woogie Man, as Ace would say, to get the round underway. For FaZe, a big focus still on the solar side of the map. Cyber getting a drone or 2 through to find out what's going on, but here's that classic APAC attack aggression. Yass finding out souls. A 5 versus 3 for Damwon Kia, make it a 5 versus 2. What's going on, Tim? FaZe are being torn apart by the Korean side.
Well, I tell you what, Des, if FaZe coming into this one didn't know they were in a game, they certainly do now. We've had everything here. We've had the kill on the roam, we've had the jump out from Yass. Damwon Kia, they are for certain not going to leave anything on the field today. They are going to give their absolute all. Cameraman it is in a 1 versus 4. He's trying to find that vertical angle. Des, they know exactly where he is. This is a matter of time, and there's not really too much for FaZe to be talking about at this point because it's only round number 1, and already they've been beaten up by Damwon Kia here on Chalet. And cameraman now just working his way towards that top floor. Lots of utility to take as he goes.
Oh, Coates has moved the shield.
They know exactly where he's going.
Just to bully him out, why not move the shield and make his life even more miserable? Coated to collect the final 1. And it is so bizarre. I spent most of this morning watching back Bang between FaZe and BDS from yesterday and seeing the pressure that FaZe are putting on, the gunfights they were swinging and winning and pushing at a pace that BDS simply couldn't adapt to. Damwon Kia have just said, well, that never happened, did it? And looked incredibly comfortable in round 1. A lot of it being on those aggressive window-based plays, the jump outs, for example, but it's all stuff that gets the blood pumping for them. And for FaZe, there's going to be a question of, you know, when can you deal with a very aggressive Damwon Kia, because they are very happy to go flying out of windows, be it doorways as soon as you approach, and make sure your life is as miserable as possible. That's a great shot from Rin. That's all the shots from Rin were great.
Now, I was coming into it, but I tell you what, that first round has just absolutely lit a fire under this semi-final for us. It's exactly what we needed. There will have been a lot of people. My prediction was 2-0 to FaZe. There's still a lot of work for Damwon Kia to do yet. I'm not getting overexcited coming into this, and I'm happy to repeat it. It is absolutely no slight to Damwon Kia, but I said the same as I did at Furia at SI. They had a great run, and I feel like maybe this is that sort of final step for Damwon Kia. Maybe this is the stretch too far, but they're coming in and they're saying, you know what, Ace, we don't care what the expectations are. We're here to play, we're here to win, and that is the attitude that Damwon Kia always come in with. They are never scared of anybody. I love to see it, and what a competition we've got on here.
Imagine already if you were to have a Damwon Kia versus Rogue Grand Final. I love the LATAM teams, but that would be against every expectation anyone had coming into the major. Let's see how round 2 plays out, though. Bar Gaming going to be where we set up. And as you come to expect from most teams defending this site, they have set themselves up on the top floor. Cyber finding Rin. He's not around for any more funny business. A nice starting kill coming in. And that will at least settle Damwon Kia ever so slightly, especially after Rin hit 2 wonderful shots back in round 1.
I think FaZe just sending a little message there, Des. You might have got away with your jump outs, you might have got away with that play, but we're from Latin America. We're well used to it, and we're going to be prepped and ready to come in and take you down if you continue to try it. Bullet just having a little exchange with Yass there. Yass not going to take any damage on that one.
Yass just tucking himself in here as well inside West Main. Daring Bullet almost to say, yeah, come for the window. By all means, you've got to find out where I am. Send in the drones, find out what information you can. I'm here for as long as required. Has now stepped himself away once he realizes the attention has bled away, and Bullet has pushed himself out towards the rest of the team with a site-based focus. Yass putting himself back inside a lobby here, but apparently Library is going to be this core focus coming in. Woogie still sat inside a Library. Grenades will start raining in, and Woogie drops away, keeping himself alive.
Absolutely, no choice there as the explosives start to rain in. I don't think FaZe are just quite confident yet that they've got the control they need over Library, and Yass is going to make that difficult. Finds himself Cyber on main door and then just dips back up the stairs to try and make that little challenge onto double window. All the time just slowing FaZe down, Des, making it feel for them like they're playing through something, you know, through syrup to try and get into this room.
The fear they'll have now is because they've lost Cyber, who's pushing in from Flute Balcony through the double window. They have no control of lobby. There's still a shield sat there, for example, by the defenders. It's why Astro is playing so scared. You've got Coated at the top of Library who could push in at a moment's notice. FaZe do not have anyone playing around Piano Window to threaten Library Hallway. The whole east and north side of the map is Damwon Kia's. FaZe are basically boxing themselves in Library, and that makes for a very nervous attack.
Unfortunate for Astro there, just gets a Selma device caught up in the floor in before the second finds its mark and starts to make it a little bit more difficult for Woogieman inside a connect. In fact, I think it's been cleared off, Des. It looks like somebody shot it out. The reinforcement is going to remain intact, so Woogieman going to be happy to continue playing inside of there. And right now, this is going to come down to a bit of a Hail Mary for FaZe, Des. They've not managed, as you say, to get themselves really established inside of the map. The only control they've got is Library. They haven't got anything on site. It's going to be a big ask for them.
They did send Cameraman off to rotate, which is why this round has been slow for 60 seconds. He went round to where Cyber died. side. Soul's finding Woogie inside of Split. That's exactly the kill that you want. Katsang now going to be one of the last lines of defense. Everyone else needs to step in. Yass with a big flank potentially inside of lobby, finds one, gets a double. Now it comes down to the side execute. Bullets in, they need the kills. Astro's in as well. They're going to go for the plant, but it's a 2 versus 2. Coated steps out, and Astro inside of Split has found one back. It's a 1v2. Can Yass pull this one off? Knows that it's gone down, but can he step in? Sees the one, must know that he's inside of Split, but he's been injured down as well. The Frost match strikes big, and Yass with a quad kill in the round wins it out.
Astro, what happened? It was an amazing play. He got himself inside a Split. He absolutely wrenched that power position out of the hands of Damwon. He was able to use it to get a kill, to enable the diffuser to go down, but Des,
oh dear,
there was a frost mat in the open by the door, and this just goes to show how powerful that gadget can be. It's easy for us to look on and say, how do you stray into the frost mat? But when you're ADSing, when you're being challenged, when you're just so focused on what is going on around you, sometimes what is sat on the floor just doesn't enter your mind, and that has just lost the round.
The thing is, I felt your pain viscerally stood right next to you. I just felt it surge, because you in the stack are the frost mat magnet. It's your little thing. But that was just pain. So much pain.
Just heard the noise.
Just the snap. You're so used to it.
I just heard the noise.
The thing is, 2 years ago, players would have been memed on for stepping into a frost mat. And in fact, I remember Vito doing it inside of the Nordic Championship, and everyone was like, how do you even step into a frost mat? And we're seeing it day after day in the current meta. But this could not come at a more crucial time. We said it yesterday between Rogue and Team 1. When the odd round would slip away from either side, you looked at it and was like, I know it's only 1 or 2 rounds, but they build up across a whole tournament, across a best of 3, and it can cost you whole games here. I don't want to say hold on to round 2 and use that as your example of why things have gone wrong,
just
but that could be impactful. Just keep it in your mind. Yeah,
back get to the end of things, and there's a 1 round difference here. You start looking back to those moments. And the thing is, I feel for Astro because he'll have had that sinking feeling in his stomach there. You know, he's in position, the 2v1, they've got the diffuser down, the round is there to be won. Snap, and you just have that sinking feeling of what have I done? But they need to just move away from that. They've got to focus on the here and now, and the here and now is round 3. Bullet gonna be taken down on a Yass run out. That is 2 in 3 rounds, Des.
Yass has got 6 kills inside 3 rounds. Sure, the quad kill in the last round going a long way towards that. The one back in round 1, but yet another entry flying in. Bullet, who was on fire yesterday along with Cyber against BDS, bullying them around Bank especially, yet to make himself known in this fixture. Things can slow down for the side of FaZe ever so slightly. Drone work coming back out. Now they've got themselves near the building. You get to that point in the round where it's about discovering where are the defenders? What does the setup look like? What's the play we're going to make from here on out?
Looking pretty good at the minute, Damwon Kia. They've got themselves 2 players inside a site, and then there's 2 to try and hold on to Piano and White Stairs. That's going to be Katsang and Yass's job for the time being. We just saw the silhouette of Katsang dropping down to the bottom of Trophy Stairs there from the challenge coming onto those from Souls. So FaZe Clan need to start picking apart that side of the map. They need to get themselves established with a bit of Solarium presence. They need to maybe try and force Yass out, because otherwise all that's going to happen when they try to get themselves into site, they're just going to face this flood of operators coming back to site to continue challenging onto them. So they really do need to think about trying to dislodge them. That's what they're doing with the verticality here, trying to use those angles, and you can see being worked from the trophy window as well. But Katsang, he's not having any of it, Des. He's going to slip away once again and keep himself alive on the Solarium stairs.
Just looking to burn time essentially here, right? I mean, you've got the entry kill. You don't need to go hyper-aggressive. Damwon Kia probably still would. It's their sort of play style. But they don't need to go crazy aggressive here onto more members of FaZe. Yass just letting them know that he is still present on the south side of the map. Astro spent 45 seconds droning this out to make sure it's clear. And now they've got to just try and ignore him and push on the site. Here they come. West main control on their side. 3 members in, but they forgot about Katsang up towards the north. Woogie on site finds himself a big double on the Maestro. The Elder gripping through the side of FaZe. Rin finds one, and Yass on the flank later in the round. This is why you can't ignore the Romans, Tim. It's another big round coming out for Damwon Kia, a flawless to make it cry. It's beautiful.
Exactly, as we said, FaZe just unable to gain any sort of meaningful map control there. They didn't disrupt Piano, they didn't disrupt Solarium. It ended up with them all pushing into West Main practically. And as we've said so many times, what happens from the defenders on site, they just all focus the guns in that direction. In this case, Woogieman, particularly with the Auda, focusing plenty on there and getting himself a few. We see the kills rain in, but look, you've got all the silhouettes are ahead of you, Des. You know, yeah, they don't have that advantage and that knowledge. We can see it here, but that's just a great example of what is happening there, because FaZe have got nowhere else to go. They end up in that one position, and Woogieman, with an Auda, can just hold mouse one and just spray along that wall, picking one after another up. Tactical pause coming in from FaZe, absolutely no surprise. The problem is that they're on the attack here of Chalet. Damwon Kia are a good Chalet team. They are going to take attacking rounds. If they get onto 4-5 defensive rounds, honestly, I think FaZe, practically, you should always try to get it pulled back.
Yeah.
But at that point, you start already looking towards that second map of bank.
I'm not saying this is a reason for why they shouldn't have come here, but me and Fresh probably spent about 90 minutes this morning going through maps and saying, right, where is this series going to go? Because Damwon Kia, they always ban Cafe. I think this year they've banned it 40 times. It's been banned against them once. That is just how much they hate it. They haven't played it at all. So you know on the side of FaZe what's going to come through. And I really thought we'd see a Chalet ban coming out by FaZe, and maybe we go to something like a Coastline here. Because for Damwon Kia, they're quite a fan of this map stepping in. It's showing up in spades right now, and I'm really excited to see if they can find a way back in, because let's not forget again, this is on the attacking side. This, I think, is like a 35% defender win rate map. They are yet to find anything. Not even a convincing round. Maybe the close one you'd say with the Frostmat you look at and say, okay, they could have got it over the finish line. But so far, Damwon Kia, they have the run of the mill.
This is the, you know, we can always look at a game and say, this could be 2-1. It could be this, it could be that. But the fact of the matter is that it's 3-0. That's where we stand at this point in time. It's all been Damwon Kia, and FaZe really struggling to get themselves involved in this one.
Whew, okie dokie. Let's see how things start to warm up. What concerns me a little bit for FaZe, even with the tactical timeout coming in, is their attacks have been slow anyway. It's not like you want to say in the timeout, right, slow it down, boys, get on your drones, find out where the roamers are, because they've been doing that. They've just been forced into a really unfortunate situation where they lose the entry, Yass disappears into the netherworld of the map, and then they're like, right, well, we can't invest all this time because we've already spent a minute and a half droning. Let's go direct to site. And then they get slapped on the flank anyway. So what I want to see them do in this round is keep the entries alive early. Don't go charging into the map or getting spawn peaked. Be very, very careful and get on the drones. If you identify there is a roamer, go after him. In, I think it was round 3 against BDS on Bank yesterday, they found a Lems locked inside of open area. They set up 2 or 3 crossfires and a Lems was dead to rights. And sure enough, they found him. There needs to be more teamwork and more of a tighter control on these roamers out of Damwon Kia, or they will just stay out of control round after round.
Really will. Now then, we're going to have Damwon Kia on the master bedroom site once again. They're just going for the rinse and repeat now. They're going to just try to do the same again and go for another 3-0 half. So 3-0 quarter, sorry, it'd make it, and a 6-0 half overall. FaZe are going to have to do something to try and disrupt that. They need to get some map presence for me. That's one of the big things for FaZe. They're just not able to lock this down at the minute on the terms of the getting in side, getting in control and being able to really get a hold of this game.
Looking back at you, I've had Fresh step in and offer a little bit of wisdom. You're saying it was FaZe was 5-0 up on attack versus Fatality on Chalet and then lost 7 in a row. Wasn't that Team 1? Was it Team 1 in their group, I want to say? I think it was Team 1. Fresh! Take a seat, my friend.
Fresh has stepped up and offered absolutely no wisdom.
You can allow him one.
To be fair, I'm going to take the opportunity, whilst we've just got a little bit of a lull at the beginning of the round, I want to give a shout out to the entire analyst desk and how much of a great job they've been doing. Obviously, Fresh's first major, Bikini as well, coming in. We'll let him off with that slip, but otherwise, it's been a fantastic job. Jess, Milosh, everybody on there, absolutely stellar work so far from them and really breaking these ones down for us. I'm sure there's going to be plenty more to come, but there's plenty more to come from here as well. There's 3-0 Damwon Kia, it stands. Who had Damwon Kia in the final on their bingo card?
Who had this round to go to the last 40 seconds, by the way, and all 10 members are still alive. No round has played out that way just yet. Damwon Kia probably getting a little bit antsy as to where they're coming from. FaZe up towards the north, find 2 kills, slowing things down apparently is the answer. Rin finding one back elsewhere. It wasn't part of that initial engagement. Now Damwon have got to flood back into the site, but Souls doing so much from the door out on balcony. Plant is going down. Yass and Rin, the 2 fraggers on this team have got a lot of work to do. Yass coming his way up the back stairs, finds one. Can he find a second as Astro takes a few shots? Rin going down to the double window. It's a 1 versus 3. And finally, FaZe have found the answer. They have broken open the ranks of Damwon Kia and got themselves on the board.
There we go, FaZe. That is what we needed. That's what the Latin American fans out there wanted to see. That first round that might just break the seal and start the ball rolling for them here, but they need, absolutely essential, to follow it up, Des. They can't just leave it at 1. They can't go with a 5-1 half here. They need to lock down another couple. Damwon Kia, they're going to move on to a different side. They don't want to rinse and repeat master bedroom. They've seen enough on there after FaZe pretty convincingly got themselves established inside a site that time, got the diffuser down, and that round for me just looked like FaZe had woken up a little bit. They had a handle on what was going on from the Damwon Kia side, played that objective well, really focused on what they needed to do. So better from FaZe, let's have some more of that.
They didn't poke the bear with a stick in the early round.
Oh, exactly that. They just waited for their opportunity to present
I don't want to
itself.
say, I don't want to say it's an ego thing, but they tempered the ego and didn't go looking for the spawn peaks against, you know, members of Damwon Kia who inevitably they knew would be at windows, would be at doorways, looking to cause trouble as Ras? They can call them that as a combo if we want. I meant Rin and Yass together. The way they've been so aggressive in the early round, I'm glad to see that they did slow it down further and get on the drones and make sure they had more control. We said after the attack timeout, that's what we needed to see. A bit more control, a bit more composure, and that works out wonderfully for them. There's someone else I want to give a shout out to. We're sharing all the love here apparently today, Tim.
Well, it's getting to that point in the tournament.
It's getting towards it.
Love. And you know us, we like to be positive, or you like to say I do, but secretly.
I did think this in my head because you were being so nice about the whole desk. I agree with you on, but Fresh, you were being so nice, and I was going to be like, sit down, son. Stop talking. I'm the devil on the shoulder. You're the angel. It's the way things tend to face out here sometimes. But a big shout to the team that built this venue we're in, by the way. I cannot. They spent, people won't have seen it, but they spent 5 or 6 days before we even got to this stage in the competition. By Wednesday, I think it was finished. Designing it, putting it together. It started snowing on day 2, and they still toiled on. And it looks absolutely phenomenal.
Oh, it's just the honor of working in somewhere like this is, you know, absolutely.
You and I regularly turn around and just go, wow, this is our job. To shout over amazing games, to be in a venue like this, it's something special.
It really is, and something special, Des, could be Damwon Kia coming away with an opening map here. 3-1 up at the minute against FaZe. FaZe able to take round 4, need to continue that. They need to find some momentum. Woogieman just going to be forced away back into sight. We've seen this before. I've just checked. I just kept the corner of my eye open, Des, as he ran into connector there. I don't think there's a frost mat in the same spot.
Really?
I don't think it's in the same spot of connector. We'll see as the round goes on. We'll see if we can just... No, it's not. The observers have just confirmed we do have the top down on another screen, and the observers have just confirmed for me. So Astro, you're safe in this one. 5 versus 5. FaZe not quite inside the building yet, Des. It's something they struggled with last time on here, clearing out that mezzanine area.
I do love this hole though, because you've got members of Damwon Kia, one sat at the top of library stairs, I believe, and you've also got one sat on mezzanine with a shield facing up towards the library hallway window. So you've got both of those. Cyber finding the one, and now they're looking up towards the top of stairs. He's down low, and Katsang finds one back elsewhere. Souls pushing in. Camera finds himself another undercoated. A good round coming in once again for FaZe. It took them 3 rounds, but the LATAM team are finally awake.
That is what they needed. Get themselves in aggressively through that office balcony window, take out mezzanine, get the map control that they needed, and then use it. Double down on it, add that pressure, get those kills. Souls takes the head off Katsang as he tries to move around the bar. 4-1 now in favour of FaZe here in terms of man count. It's all up to Yass. He is pinned into connector. The Twitch drone sees him. They know exactly where he is, Des. He had to try and fight his way out. Cyber had the only angle that was needed. Gets that kill, and that's going to be the round for FaZe. 3-2, and they have woken up.
You can see a 3-3 half on the way here very comfortably, I think, as well. Again, that timeout for FaZe just saying, right, slow things down. Let's not get pulled into the APAC game, because where the old reputation was that LATAM with the run and gun teams, they still can be on some maps, absolutely. But APAC teams are on another level. It's been feeling like across much of this tournament. Damwon Kia, apparently when you do slow things down and force them to play dare I say, more conventional sieges where they're looking to struggle a little bit here so far. They'll still be very, very happy if this half ends at 3-3. To get 3 defensive rounds on this map, you're not going to cry about that one at all. For FaZe, a chance to end the half on a decent note at a 3-3 point. Damwon Kia, if they can get to 4-2, give themselves an excellent advantage going into the second half.
Final defensive round here for Damwon Kia then. We're going to be loaded into Master Bedroom. We saw this last time around. It was round 4. FaZe were able to get their first successful attacking round here. They got the diffuser planted. They were able to really push Damwon Kia around a bit. Managed to get themselves a few kills in the earlier sort of mid-round and got in there, really dominated things. They're going to be looking to do the same again. Damwon Kia this time. We've got 4 5 maybe heading back to site. I've got Katsang sort of running around in library at the minute, just putting those gadgets down. Going to open the hatch up, but looking most likely to dip back. Maybe try and play a little bit of mezzanine, but a bit of a heavier site presence coming in from Damwon here, Des. We've got Courted. He's just moved downstairs to go underneath. Yass is out library way as well, but they're sort of more on these semi-roams, just trying to keep it pretty within touching distance of site. A little bit less aggressive than they were in the earlier rounds.
Yeah, Katsang holding out on Mez. I think it was Woogie was playing here in the previous round, I want to say. No shield this time supporting him, but they have got that initial extension down towards the south side. FaZe on their previous attack did focus entirely on Solar, don't forget. So for them to now be pushing across towards the library side for this take is a little bit different. So I'm thinking it's a good idea by Katsang to be out here, just burn through a couple of drones and then look to get your way back to site. But you have to fear the potential cut that comes through. I don't know, Yass not being droned out downstairs finds himself a freebie onto Bullet. It's just like rounds 1, 2, and 3 again, it feels like. Now Cyber, the next to fall to Katsang. It's a 5v3, and Damwon have been here a few times before.
It is FaZe are just running on into the guns at the minute, and that is going to be a problem because they're losing men, they're losing gunfights. But Astro, he's managed to get himself established in mezzanine here, Des. He's getting that wall open into office. FaZe really need to find themselves the next kill or two. That much is essential. In comes the drone work from Astro. Look at that, absolutely. Just guns through that barricade with the hip fire and takes down Courted. Brings them back within 1, and you start seeing a timeline whereby FaZe can maybe turn this round on its head, Des. They were 5-3 down. That's now 4-3. They've got the breach open. They've got access to the plant spot. What they need now is another kill or two.
It's so weird when you drone someone out and get a kill at the back of it, isn't it, Tim? It's almost like the first 2 weren't droned out. At least that's how it looked from our perspective. Yass definitely not seen on the downstairs initially, but indeed we are seeing FaZe slowly starting to fight back. Astro down the south side. This wall's still electrified up as well. I think a bit delayed in getting the redeployment back down of the Electro Claw. Cleared off regardless, and they can find themselves trying to push through in the wall here if they so choose. Just going to open up the right side here as well to make sure the rotate is definitely opened up wide for them. But Woogie has this long angle. Rin's going to find Cameraman. One stepping in on the half wall. The spray comes through. Now Woogie Man's got to win this fight. Sees his man, keeps on stepping out. Can't quite complete it. And Rin in Piano should be a pivotal part against Souls. In fact, no. He rotates back over to the breach as well. The two of them backing out here and holding the longer angles. Just daring to see if Damwon Kia want to go for the swing. They could get away with a cheeky plant here if so decided. But Rin hanging just off to the side could also do a bit of damage. Plant is going down. No one has the side angle. Woogieman steps forward and gets banged out of there by Astro. Souls another. Yass brings it down to a 1v1. Souls creeping round. Looks off to the left. Here we go. Who wins this one first? It's Yass to close it out. Damwon Kia end the half 4-2 with 2 huge rounds from Yass.
What an effort from FaZe there in that 2v3 situation. I love how Astro and Souls played it. You just had Astro get himself onto the breach to provide that cover, and boy, did he provide it. Souls went into the default plant spot, threatened to get that diffuser down, ultimately didn't stick it, but the air jab was a great play for them, to be fair. It was really pivotal and almost swung the round for them, but Yass just able to win that 1v1 out from Piano. Whew, this one is a tense game.
That round had a blend of both playstyles that we'd seen throughout that first half, right? The start of it was FaZe not doing the drone work, not taking things as slow as they have been, or still being slow, just not droning things out as what's the word I'm looking for here? As confidently as they have before. They weren't committing drones on the downstairs to ensure Yass wasn't going to hit them on the flank, and that's exactly what it turns out to do. They do swing things back in, which is massive, but for Yass again, I want to point out his KD here, 11-2 in a single half. That is unbelievable. And coming into the tournament, so many were saying, you know, Yass needs to start being talked about, like secret contender for one of the best players at the competition. And I think the problem is there's definitely a bias towards saying, oh, APAC's got work to do. It's still got to improve yet. You're starting to see superstars appear across a couple of teams. We spoke about 11, for example, on T1 a lot last year. Obviously not here at this event. And Yass has just sprinted ahead of much of the competition, I think. You're speaking about names like, you know, think about like Shaiko, think about Citizen from Europe. I'm starting to talk about, okay, well, when's Yass in that conversation for one of the greatest in the world?
He already is. He already is at the minute. He's done it not just at this tournament. He's done it through APAC Stage 3, which we've seen. He's done it through every stage of it.
It's consistency, right?
It's consistency throughout the year. I said coming into this that he's had 1 or 2 quiet games, which is forgivable through a tournament. You're always going to.
You can't be perfect all the time,
You can't
Tim.
be perfect every single game. But what else did I say? They need to have those players delivering when it really counts. That's what makes a championship side, is that those players can turn up. Yeah, you might have a quiet game in your last group stage game.
Yeah.
But you know what? You're already through. It's fine. You turn up for semis and you do what Yass is doing right now. Nobody remembers that group stage game anymore, and it's absolutely fine. Yass has hit the ground running today, and FaZe are going to have to find a way to control him, because otherwise he's going to run away. The thing that I will say is sometimes when we get those big performances out of a player in a half, we'll see the side switch have quite a big impact on it, and all of a sudden they just go quiet because they're not able to play in exactly the same way. Even if, you know, they've been playing an aggressive roam on defense and then they move in as the entry on attack, you could argue it's a similar principle, but it's still different nuances. It's still different skills that are needed, and sometimes you just see it drop off a little bit. I'm sure FaZe are going to be hoping that that might be the case for Yass, because if he's going to run out and get air jabbed off his feet, Des, get up and find one whilst he's standing up and then go and win the 1v1. And if you didn't notice, Yass had about 20 HP through all of that and still won it out.
That's the problem, right?
Can't play against
He's a flank player. It's I always say it, but Siege is at its heart an FPS game. You've got to win your gunfights. You can do all you can in your power to influence the outcome of those gunfights. Stop them being a 50-50 and more towards a 70-30, or in some cases a guaranteed kill in your favor. But it still comes down to being able to land those shots, and when Yass is landing them like no other, well, you see how the game pans out. We are in a quick rehost in case you haven't quite clocked on. That's why you're seeing the players' wonderful faces all over your screen. And we will be back into things in just a second. This second half, it kind of comes at a perfect time because we are now about to move into that second half where the side of Damwon Kia go onto the attack. Now, we know how disruptive they can be on the defensive side. The attacking side could be a different story. Whether or not FaZe look to meet them on the rip out windows and doorways, whether or not they sit a little bit deeper and let Damwon Kia just struggle under the pressure as that clock runs down to 0 is entirely up to them. But I'm keen to see how this map plays out, and I'm already thinking about map 2 and what that can deliver to Tim.
I already want 3 maps out of this. You know me, I just want maximum entertainment.
You know why I don't want 3 maps? And I don't want it to be a FaZe 2-1, because Happy's the only person that predicted FaZe to win 2-1.
Yeah.
I'm insufferable about predictions. He is next level.
You think?
I think he can be. He was basing predictions on weather forecasts and all sorts before.
You see me go through, and there's probably individual rounds that you could listen to and you think, oh, God, Ace is biased towards FaZe, Ace is biased towards Damwon Kia. What you'll find is it's whoever's behind, because I just want them to do well and win rounds so that we get as much as possible.
All right, so this round are we like pro FaZe? Is that the way we're going to do it?
If FaZe come in, I'll get all excited about them getting a few entries.
So what happens what happens in the Ace like computer machine in your head when it's 4-4?
Oh, well, then it's just all bets are off, Des. Then it's just let's go crazy.
Well, let's pray we get to that point. FaZe kicking off their defense with a bar gaming setup. By the looks of it, with a mute being placed on Mezzanine, I'm already starting to think that we're going to see them gunning in towards a setup when someone plays on Mez, someone plays at the top of Library Stairs, and they go for a full top floor hold. And the reinforcements looking to reaffirm just as much. Downstairs on site, not really nothing worth touching on just yet. No Frost being brought along, much to I'm sure your delight in this case, Ace. But there is the Mute and the Mozzie looking to shut down the information game coming out of Damwon Kia.
I think that's where a duo like Cyber and Bullet could be potentially very lethal. I know it's not, it's Astro that's on the mute, but it's just that denial, Des. It's Damwon Kia having to go in and take gunfights with these two when they can't see them, when they don't know where they are. That's when Cyber and Bullet particularly are going to become a bit of a nightmare, and they really can be, on a defensive roam, an unbelievable duo. Now, Rin, maybe with a little bit of information there, I don't know, just taking a few shots, so maybe just a little bit of an educated guess that there could be somebody in around bathroom. Not going to find any joy moving away. Pretty patient from Damwon Kia. They've not rushed into the map yet, Des. They're quite happy to get themselves established on the outside before pushing in. Information's going to be difficult to come by, which is probably going to be part of that issue that's slowing them down.
In this spot, it's Cyber mainly looking to cause a bit of trouble up towards the north side. Rin being patient as a saint, sat watching West Main and the bathroom window pretty much for the entirety of the round, whilst the rest of the crew get to work on what the setup is going to be. They need control first and foremost of Library. They remove the shield away, which should at least make this a bit riskier for FaZe to sit on meds and contest. That being said, the player that was there, I believe Cameraman, has dipped away. FaZe have got 3 players up towards the north side of the map here. They could not be further away from sight, whilst Damwon Kia are swarming the site. If you said to anyone here, how's this round going to play out? You'd be like, well, surely Damwon Kia just rushed the site. And that could very well prove to be how it plays out, but watch out for the FaZe flank.
That's the key. You've got to be aware then of where those FaZe players are. It's all well and good recognising that they're not there, but where they are is, of course, just as important. Katsang looks to be well aware of that. He's just going to be holding down that angle. Going to take out a Mozzie drone as it passes him as well. It's one that Cyber had managed to capture himself. Cameraman opening up the angle, Des, and that's where you're going to get hurt. Damwon Kia not doing enough to deal with the piano side, and here comes Cyber as well. Astro, it's all falling apart for Damwon Kia on this attack, but somehow Coated, he manages to find himself too and just wrestle Damwon Kia back into things.
Really big couple of kills coming out from Coated there, and a great flick onto the top of Library stairs as well to make sure that one went their way, no matter which way you look at it. I was about to say they're in a 2 versus 3 though, but Rin's just found another. It's a 2 versus 2. The members of FaZe pulled ever so slightly back. Astro almost losing his life, but finding Coated first. Downed, and now there's 25 seconds to play. Rin, I don't think he's aware that this is the case. Cameraman's up on the top floor, can get the res off here. Rin is pushing in. If he goes fast enough, maybe able to find a couple on the stairs. He's pushing in fast. Can he see them both? Sees one, can't quite find it. Up from above, Super Astro finds the shutdown, quite literally living up to his in-game name of Super Astro there, and making sure FaZe get the round.
FaZe then bringing it back to 3-4 and opening us up with a successful defense. Exactly what they needed. Coming in on a 4-2 half, really needed to show that they can lock these sites down, and it was impressive from them. They managed to use that space that they were given really, really well. There was just no pressure, no push to try and move them from piano, and I'm pretty sure Damwon Kia, they're not going to be ignoring them up there on the top floor again, Des, because kills just started to rain in as soon as FaZe sniffed that opportunity. It was Cameraman who set it all off. He picked the timing. He was the catalyst. Impact nade onto the office balcony wall. Straight out he went onto mezzanine and got himself the opener, and then it all just collapsed on into Damwon Kia from there, and the pressure just went from 0 to 100 in a fraction of a second.
I was worried they'd be a little bit too slow and have to come crawling their way through, but the impact that came onto the office wall gave them that angle that cut through onto the top of the mezzanine stairs, onto the doorway that led into Library, and from there Damwon's Kia retreat was essentially cut off unless they threw themselves back outside of Library. But you haven't invested 2 minutes to get control of Library and drone the surrounding area to step in, to then jump back out and essentially reset yourself back to 0. So it was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. A great top floor retake coming in by FaZe. Make sure the round comes their way. Damwon Kia feeling the heat a little bit there of the clock towards the end as well. FaZe now going to find themselves setting up inside a kitchen and dining, so have the top floor defense coming their way. Shields, ADSs, every manner of gadgetry scattered throughout piano, as we're so often used to seeing for this site. For Damwon Kia, it's a question of pushing in from Solar or coming in from Library side. And with 3 members on the north side of the map, I'm led to believe it's going to be that Solar take.
FaZe getting pretty aggressive there onto the barricades. That's it. They've reinforced Big Garage as well, and we're starting to see, Des, that vertical angle used to pressure onto Solar. We've commented on it a few times. You get somebody in underneath, open the floor up, nades can be thrown up, challenges can be made onto trophy stairs into the solarium area. So this time, FaZe deciding they want to try and hold on to this. Now then, Astro going to make the challenge onto that breach to begin with. All sorts of utility down there by the looks of things, Des, including a deployable shield. So really trying to hold on to that area with some veracity.
Cameraman might be thinking about a jump out of mud, I think, as well. He's ran his way all the way down to the southwest side of the map and is looking for that right call to come in, that it's the right time to go out that window and find himself a kill. But elsewhere, it's Rin onto Cyber. The jump out coming through. Woogie finds one. Rin in a 1v1 against Cameraman, but no one finding the kill elsewhere. Now things can settle down ever so slightly, but Damwon Kia have got the control they need. That hold from FaZe already torn asunder.
FaZe, they're on the back foot. They need to show us now what they're made of. If they want to come out here and win the 6th major in Sweden, it's moments like these that they're going to have to show us the character to be able to overturn these rounds. 3 versus 5, they find themselves, and it goes from bad to worse as Rin manages to get a headshot onto Souls, giving Damwon Kia an even bigger advantage here. Astro doing everything he can. He's rotated his way back up from Big Garage, trying to get aggressive on towards West Main. Drone will spot him out. Shots are missed. Nitro, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be onto the ceiling or not, but he's maybe not. He's maybe wanting the line of sight onto trophy stairs. We'll see as the round progresses whether that has any impact, but there's an absolute age of time for Damwon Kia here.
That's the thing, right? If it was maybe 30 seconds left, you could see a world where it could all go horribly wrong, but they've had 1 minute and 30 in this 5 versus 2 to get the information they need to set up for the push that they're looking for here. Starting to move their way forward ever so slightly. They've got that trophy side control. Astro dug in deep, and I'm not sure Damwon Kia know where he is. Katsang is holding a rough angle off towards him, but right now everyone's freezing. It's more about seeing what Cameraman can do on the top floor, where he can move to, and where his impact can be felt.
Sorted going to be getting that diffuser down. Damwon Kia just sniffing out the opportunity to get themselves inside a site and do that. Going to be successful. Woogieman finds Astro. It's a fraction of a second later that Yass picks up the last man as Cameraman has to try and return to site to do something about the round, and as he tries to use those vertical angles, he's already being watched and shut down. Damwon Kia absolutely flying. It continues here. 5-3 now.
And Wine and Snowmobile likely where we step to next, a site that we are not used to really seeing in Europe, but North America and other regions have stepped there a couple of times. I know we've seen Fnatic, for example, inside of APAC North playing it a couple of times. And clearly in LATAM it's a thing as well, as FaZe opting to set up their defense next. They have got the Kaid here, so can of course opt to electrify off Trench and looking up towards the north side wall in Wine, or they can look towards Snowmobile Garage itself. Keen to see what the setup looks like. And Bullet, stepping away from playing on the Jaeger, is going to go over to the Vigil in the 6th pick. So you're going to see him out on the roam. And admittedly, the roam from FaZe yet hasn't been highly impactful. We're looking for that still. It's only 2 rounds in, but we need to see a bit more from that as well. Shutting down Damwon in the early round, showing us the delivery that we saw from this team against BDS yesterday.
It's going to be a difficult site to defend, potentially. I'm interested to see how FaZe go about this. Heading down to the bottom floor leaves you with 4 different directions to defend effectively. You can have things opened up, you can have Trench opened up, you can have the wall from Big Garage opened up, you can have the main wall opened up, you can have somebody push down blue. There's also a verticality there. You can open the floor up in Fireplace, for example, and get vertical angles down into sight. It's very, very oppressive sometimes for the defenders to be down here.
They've done the magic box upside in dining. You can smash a hole on the side of the table and chuck the electroclaw inside of it that electrifies the wall down below. Nice throwback to old Chalet in that case as well. Of course, if the attackers don't realize this, well, you'll find yourself very frustrated as to why you can't find the gadget that's denying you entry into a wall. Cameraman's playing himself down inside a bar and gaming, but look towards this front wall here. I think just in time coming out. Yass going to have to nade this one out, and then the wall should be able to get opened up.
Unfortunate timing there. I just don't think they were aware that the electrical was likely to be applied at that moment. Obviously, a few
another one upstairs again.
Wasted.
On the stairs.
It is, as you
so
say,
both are upstairs here, and they're like, oh, I can nade it off the wall. No, you can't.
Cameraman's looking to actively defend this electrical as well as the Kaid. He's playing inside a bar, and he's just waiting for those noises. Look at that. He's got the rotation opened up so that he can get onto it, and this is not going to be an easy fix for Damwon Kia.
They can just nade this. Like, this can be naded and taken out very, very simply, but no one, I think they've burned both of them. In fact, no, Yass has still got one. They can nade this if they want and get it out the way. I'm just not sure what it is they're being so conservative about and why they're so worried. Maybe the one-mine magnets is what they're concerned about. Instead, send in the Rotero. That will not get caught out by the magnets, and it's an easy removal of the Kaid Electro Claw, as well as Astro elsewhere around the map, was Rin finding the opener. Snowmobile can be opened out, but it's a good 75 seconds or so that has been wasted by FaZe. Nice little setup.
That's it. It's not just the time that's been wasted, it's the utility as well. I spoke about these attacks from multiple angles being successful on this basement floor, but now that Coated has used so many X-Kairos pellets, we might find that it's not as viable to go and apply those multiple angles of pressure, so FaZe can just focus a little bit more on that main breach. Bullet, however, he's going to take a lot of damage up on the top floor as the Vigil there. Damwon Kia still chasing him around, but they've got plenty of time here, Des. 1 minute 10 left to go. They can just chip away at FaZe for the time being. Cameraman decides he's going to have a look outside, and that was a bit of a wow play for me.
Just a little bit there. Again, channeling the inner Damwon Kia from the first half, but not quite with the same results. You got Cyber coming down the back here towards Trophy, and Rin isn't too far away. He's sat just inside of Dining's on the hunt for this one as well. The C4 maybe not quite you were looking for onto that wall, admittedly. It is reinforced, buddy. It's not going to get opened.
Out goes the C4 this time. I'm not sure he thinks there's somebody inside of there. He's basically trying to bait them into moving, but it's not going to work because Rin, he's just playing on another level at the minute, Des. He just waits for Cyber to push through, finds an easy one. Diffuser going down, Yass onto Souls, and again, it's all Damwon Kia, and right now, there is only one team that I can see realistically taking this map here on Chalet. We knew that it was a weak spot for FaZe, but what message does it send to them heading in to the rest of this best of three?
Wow.
That's the round. That is now match point coming in for Damwon Kia. One more will see us moving on to bank.
How many flawless rounds do you want to stack up in a map? I believe that was number 3. 2 back in the first half, that one just now. It's not like these rounds are even coming close and FaZe Clan in places are putting up a good fight. This is Damwon Kia in several rounds, storming through without competition from the other side. And FaZe kind of thought maybe on the defensive side, okay, you have a little bit more joy on this one. But the play coming out, like Rin being sat here, to me, it looks almost like it's a defender dealing with an attacker. Rin was just lurking around Trophy for basically the entire round, waiting for someone to come pushing in. Cyber checks 2 different places, looking inside of Trophy, looking inside of Kitchen. The one place he doesn't check inside of Dining is where Rin has been sat patiently waiting for 30 to 45 seconds and picks up a freebie. It's one of those with a jump out that you mentioned too. It's like FaZe are trying to force things to happen when Damwon are slowing down. You remember what I said about them the other day? This is a team that goes from 1st gear to 5th gear at the snap of their fingers, and teams really struggle to deal with that pace change.
It's like the tighter they try to grip onto Chalet, the quicker it's slipping through their fingers.
Like an eel.
Yeah, the quicker it's slipping through the fingers, the quicker it's getting away from them. It's like now the sort of the desperation setting in. We've got to do something. We've got to try something explosive here. And Damwon Kia are reading into it beautifully. They're ready for it. Yeah, you want to try bring the jump outs? That's absolutely fine. We've got it covered, and we're going to cut you down. And Damwon Kia, they're going to be feeling supremely confident coming out of this one. And you know what a message to be sent from the APAC region in general as well. Coming in here against what is, for my money, probably they've definitely been one of the top performing teams in the major so far in FaZe. One of the best in the world, as I said earlier. They've been underrated for a little bit of time, I think, because of the lack of attendance at other international events, but it just felt like it was waiting for a moment like this for FaZe. But right now, Damwon Kia are a roadblock that they just cannot get around.
They're going to have to figure this out as well in the space they have between this map and the next one, assuming, of course, they can't pull this one back. I mean, even if they go on to win it, there are very clearly questions to ask about how they deal with Damwon Kia and the threat they've continuously put in front of FaZe. And I hope ahead of us stepping into map number 2 on Bank, they do get that one figured out. For now, at least, we need to see how Chalet concludes. It is 6-3. Damwon Kia win this round, it's done and dusted, wrapped up and summarized already. For FaZe, it's not a massively different setup to what we saw coming out before. The key one I'm looking at is that you've got 2 players off on the roam up towards the north in Cyber and Astro. No one is playing at the top of the library stairs where you'd normally see someone to support the player. There's Bullet sat inside a mezzanine, and he gets fragged out by an instant pushing from Yass, and with no one at the top of library stairs, this is free real estate.
That's it, Damwon Kia have now got themselves established inside a library, and the difficulty for FaZe with playing that side of the map so light here, Des, and allowing them in, is complete vertical control over sight.
I love this. Rin is sat watching off on the balcony in towards office because they knew last time round FaZe came bursting in with an impact grenade onto the office wall, and cameraman's looking to do it again by the looks of it. If Rin holds here, he could have a huge impact on the outcome of this round because FaZe need to retake lost ground the same way they did last time around but Damwon Kia should be smart enough to read into this.
As you said, Rin right now just watching the top of the main stairs, but as soon as that impact goes off, he swings his attention there, and cameraman pretty much immediately forced back
Rin's done it!
and killed. Fantastic play from Damwon Kia and Rin to deal with the threat that they saw last time around. They will not be caught out twice. There's 3 versus 1 now as Yass finds souls. A couple of bodies drop along the way, but the damage is done. This one is over for FaZe Clan. Chalet goes to Damwon Kia, and our APAC North side have taken map 1 in the first semi-final of the 6th major here in Sweden.
It's not just that they've won it, Ace. They've made it look easy. FaZe were a team, again, that so many said would go on to win this major, that were looking to be one of those top contenders from LATAM. And Damwon Kia have cast them aside as if they were a group stage game, like it was nothing to them at all. This is a team that 6 months ago, no one really knew even existed. They were getting battered around a little bit in APAC. We didn't see them delivering. And now they're 1 map away from a final at a major. What?
I think plenty of people know that they exist right now, Des, because what a performance that was on Chalet. I think FaZe are going to feel reasonably comfortable still heading into Bank. I think, you know, mentally they'll be thinking, right, we've got our map coming up next. We can get in there and get this done, take it to 3. But honestly, I wouldn't be surprised to see Damwon Kia put up one hell of a fight here on Bank.
Bank was a very nervy map for Damwon Kia with the way I looked at it. I'm now very nervous for FaZe. Let's go over to our desk and get a breakdown on a map that has simply blown minds.